Now, before I get into what I'm about to get into, I just want to make sure that each and every one of you guys hit that like or dislike button, put some Coach K full court pressure on that notification bell so you could be notified each and every time I upload a video or go live on my YouTube channel. And once again, this is your boy E Thriller. Welcome back. Now, I'm just going to give y'all some time before y'all get up on in here, man. I just wanted to come online to chop some shit up with y'all about the sport of boxing and what I think the biggest impediment in the sport is as of right now. I'm just give y'all some time because I know YouTube be taking a little minute to push the notifications out there. But on your way in, please make sure you hit that like or dislike button. Put some Coach K full court pressure on that notification bell, man. I would really, really appreciate it. Shout out to each and everybody that's watching this video, that's in the chat. I see you. I salute you. But first things first, man, we just going to get right to it. I don't plan on being on all morning unless it's warranted. Now, I'm starting to think the biggest impediment in the sport of boxing is us as fight fans, because it's pretty obvious that some of us, we would just go out of our fucking way to protect our fighters, and I just don't know why. Why? Because at the end of the day, why are we so hell-bent on preventing these big-time fights from happening? Because I'm getting so sick and tired of this new narrative already when it comes to Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz. Because you got some fight fans on one hand that'll say, oh, they ain't ready. Oh, they ain't proved enough. Oh, they don't deserve a shot. But who are you to tell these dudes they not ready if they feel like they ready? And shout out to my boy Entertainment FN in the chat. What's good, man? What's good, bro? I appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. But yeah, man, back to the point. Who are we to say as fight fans that these dudes are not ready? Because I could have sworn I thought that's what the amateurs was for. The amateurs is for, or was for, to prepare these dudes to go up against different styles, different looks, different trainers, and things of that nature, putting them in different situations, unseen and unheard of, in uncharted territories, right? And for them to come out and to prevail, to gain experience against all these different type of styles. So when they do decide to go professional, they can go out there and perform at the highest level, right? So why are we in the business of playing these motherfuckers bodyguards, construction workers, building crossing signs and stop signs and shit like that, and barriers for these big fights from happening? Because it's pretty apparent that we aren't getting the fights that we want to see, especially in the welterweight division. When it comes to Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., the fight that everybody has been clamoring for since 2018. So if we're not going to get those type of fights, right, then why not see a Earl Spence versus a Jaron Ennis? Or why not see a Terence Crawford versus a Vergil Ortiz? You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the next best thing smoking in the welterweight division. Why not? Because I would much rather see a Vergil Ortiz go up against a Terence Crawford than I would rather see Terence Crawford face a fucking Josecito Lopez. You understand what I'm saying? Or Danny Garcia. Danny Backwoods Garcia. I call him Backwoods because he gets smoked every fucking time he goes out there and perform against top-notch opponents. Backwoods. He gets smoked like a blunt every single time. And not to mention, I would love to see an Errol Spence go up against a Jaron Ennis, who is young, prime, but he's ready. I feel like from a talent and from a skill perspective and a physique perspective, I feel like he's ready. Why are we trying to hold these guys back? Why are we trying to protect their O's? And even if they were to get in the ring with those two top dogs, because let's be honest, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are the two best welterweights at 147. So even if they were to dare to be great, challenge themselves, challenge their skill, their craft, and go up there and lose, that's no knock on them. Because at the end of the day, some of the greatest boxers in the world have all lost. Okay, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Mike Tyson. You understand what I'm saying? The great Muhammad Ali, the GOAT. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., Hector Camacho, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, do I need to go on? Do you guys get my drift? Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. All of these dudes have lost. So what is the crime in challenging yourself to be great, to go up against the best that the best has to offer? And if you lose, then so what? Y'all act like these dudes are in their late 40s or something, like they can't bounce back. You know, I'm not in the business of protecting my favorite fighters. I'm just not. Because it's one thing to say that, oh, I see some weaknesses in their game, because hell, I do. I see the weakness in Jaron Ennis' game is possibly his inside fighting. He tends to stand straight up when he's in the pocket, and he tends to get hit with that over right looping hand time and time again. Sergey Lipinets caught him on a couple of occasions. But having said all of that, he still looked very impressive. He still was the first guy to stop a Sergey Lipinets, right? And hey, if this man wants to dare to be great, then let him be great. If he wants to get in the ring with Errol Spence or Terence Crawford and get his ass kicked, then oh well, so be it. It's either sink or swim with me. I mean, throw him in there with the wolves. Why the fuck are we waiting? What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? And shout out to our boxing 1108 in the chat. He says Errol and Jaron got the same amount of fights. So let's get this fight on. Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was about to get into that, bro. Do you guys realize that Jaron Ennis, give me 1 second. Give me one brief second, man, because I was going to get into that our boxing. Let me see. Jaron Ennis is 27-0, y'all, with 25 KOs. I mean, how much more fights and how much more experience do you guys want this dude to have? He arguably has just as many fights as Errol Spence, who's been in the sport a hell of a lot longer. So that lets me know that this man is hungry, this man is active, and this man is ready to make some noise in the welterweight division. But not only the welterweight division, but in the sport of boxing, because the man seems humble. He seems like he stays in shape. I have yet to see him do any fuck shit on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or beyond. Hell, I don't even know if he's active on there, to be honest. Every time I see a young Jaron Ennis, he's in the gym. He's hitting the heavy bag, speed bag, mitts. The same goes for Vergil Ortiz. Who are we to say that these dudes aren't ready? I will wait. Because I didn't like it when I heard Terence Crawford, who went to the Maurice Hooker and Vergil Ortiz fight, because when he was asked, you know, what is the possibility of you facing a Vergil Ortiz and things of that nature, right? He was like, oh, well, he looked good, but he ain't ready. Like, I don't want to hear that coming from Bud. I don't want to hear that coming from fight fans either, you know, because they ain't doing nothing but building excuses and barriers for us fight fans, us diehard boxing fans who are salivating at the mouth, chomping at the bit to see the best go up against the best. Young or old, old or young, I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love Terence Crawford and as much as I respect all these other guys in the sport of boxing, I am for the sport, because these fighters, great fighters, come and go all the time. But one thing that's going to remain here and remain the same is the sport of boxing. And damn it, that's why I do this shit. I am here to force these motherfuckers' hands to make sure that we get the fights we want to see, because I am on a mission and a rampage to do so. In our boxing 1108, my bad, bro. He said also Jaron is 23 years old. Same age Canelo was when he fought Mayweather. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hate that whole narrative of saying, oh, well, Canelo wasn't ready. He didn't have enough experience. Like, man, the man felt like he was ready to take a shot at the TBE. He got in there and got his ass kicked. So what? We've seen how great Canelo has bounced back from that loss. He learned a lot in that loss. And the same can be said about a Jaron Ennis or a Vergil Ortiz if and when they go up against the Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. Because if they go in there and get their ass kicked, at least they're going to learn or take something away from that loss. Because a loss at the end of the day is a blessing. It's a lesson. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? So I just don't get the notion or the logic of people running around and saying, oh, these dudes ain't ready yet. I just don't understand it, y'all. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's almost like we don't want to see big fights because we already not getting Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. That's the fight everybody want to see. It don't look like we're going to get Errol Spence versus I guess he's going to go up against Yordenis Ugas next. We don't know. We haven't heard anything about that. You know, it's been real quiet about the negotiations and the A side, B side type shit, right? With that fight. We still don't know who Terence Bud Crawford is going to face next. Is it Manny Pacquiao? Is it Sean Porter? Is it Keith Thurman? Is it Vergil Ortiz? Hell, we don't know. The last thing we heard was Bob Arum saying, hey, a big fight announcement was supposed to be made, and that was 2 fucking weeks ago. And why he would put a timetable on it, I have no idea. Because at the end of the day, all he did was just put more added pressure on Terence Crawford and his camp and Top Rank Promotions on making that fight happen. And if the fight doesn't go through with Manny Pacquiao, then everybody is going to be on Bud's case. Everybody is going to be on Bud's case, man. Give me a sip of water, y'all. But but it is what it is, man, because Ortiz, he's 17-0 with 17 KOs. Just coming off a big win against Maurice Hooker, right? And I would love to see him in there with some top-notch competition, man, because I'm looking at these welterweights, you know, I would love to see him go up against a Sean Porter, hell, a Mikey Garcia, a Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, David Avanesian. Like, I wouldn't mind Igis Kavalaskis, Josecito Lopez. Throw these guys in there with some legitimate competition. Let's see if they are really about the smoke. I have no problems with it. I don't want to see these dudes fighting D-level fighters, C-level fighters. No, I'm not for none of that. I don't know what platform y'all think this is, but on this platform, I am all for the best going up against the best. And shout out to Euro Thomas in the chat. He said, Mike Tyson became heavyweight champion of the world at Boots' age. Let's stop the nonsense. Exactly. People don't want to talk about that, though. People do not want to talk about that. Mike Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion ever at the time, you know? And people weren't going around and say, oh, well, Mike Tyson is too young. He doesn't deserve a shot. He ain't done enough. He don't have a belt. But motherfuckers weren't saying none of that shit in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Wasn't none of that weak talk. When did everybody turn into fucking Kevin Costner? Like, everybody want to be the bodyguard. Everybody want to play promoter for these fighters, personal bankers. Everybody want to talk about purse splits and what they fighter deserves just because it's their favorite fighter, as if they are getting the fucking cut. I mean, don't make me fart. Shit, get on my goddamn nerves, you. Get on my goddamn nerves, man. And I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Nor do I condone it, because it's duckery. It's fuckery. That's all we doing. At the end of the day, we just pushing these big fights back further and further away. And by the time the fight happened, it won't be the same, or these guys are going to be weight drained because they stayed at 147 for too goddamn long. Because who's to say how long Errol Spence is going to stay at 147? The same goes for Terence Crawford, who's already been hinting at him moving up to 154. His manager and trainer in Bo Mack has already came out and said that last week. So how long do you want these guys to wait? I want to see them up against legitimate competition, because I am of the mindset of if they ain't going to fight each other, then why not put them in there with these young guns? Why not? And if the young guns come in and possibly fuck up the mega fight, then so be it, because guess what? They should have fought each other a long fucking time ago. That's my mindset. That's my mindset. So maybe, just maybe, that's why people are like, oh, they don't deserve it. Oh, they ain't ready yet, just so they can protect this big mega fight from happening. But fuck that. If they don't want to give us the fights that we want to see, then why not throw them in there? Oh, hell, even better yet, why not see Vergil versus Boots? I mean, I'll wait. I'll fucking wait. Because if you can't get a fight with the top dogs, with the big fish, and with Terence Bud Crawford, right, then why not fight each other? That's a big fight. That's going to put asses in seats. You can put it at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and I'm pretty sure that fight will sell out, sell through the roof. I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers would look like, but the fight would do tremendous numbers as far as from a live gate perspective. And shout out to Hands of Stone. Government says you're ready to kill at 18, but boxing fans say 23 or 24-year-old ain't ready for a boxing match. Right. And, you know, at 21 years old, Hands of Stone, you can dream. But these young guys who's been fighting for practically damn near their entire fucking lives as teenagers, as youngsters, ain't ready to go up in there and face the best competition that the sport has to offer. Like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Flame on 24. What's up, boy? Where you been at, man? Appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. He said it's not that they're not ready, it's the fact that they need to wait like everybody else had to. Spence was in Ennis shoes and had to wait. Bud had to wait as well and did get a promoter till later on. I mean, you make a good point, bro, but at the same time, from my perspective, I'm trying to get away from that kind of talk. You understand what I'm saying? I want to get back to the 80s, to the 90s, to the 60s, and to the 70s where these guys wasn't waiting to fight each other, bro. These guys weren't talking that promoter talk or other side of the street, or you got to wait your turn. Like, to me, that's some old Keith Thurman, Errol Spence type shit talk. And I don't like that. I don't like that weak shit. I like competition. You understand what I'm saying? I like to see the best go up against the best. I want to see some UFC type shit in boxing where, you know, Dana White ain't protecting them dudes' O's. He throw them in there when the fans demand a fight. He make it happen. And that's what I want for the sport of boxing, man. Is that too much to ask for? Is that too much to ask for? Flame on 24 said, how about we talk about Boots versus Vergil? Absolutely. I just said that I would love to see that fight. I don't see why that fight isn't being pushed harder by fight fans about the sport of boxing, because if Oscar is so willing and ready to throw Vergil up in there with Terence Bud Crawford, then why not put him up in there with Boots? Because correct me if I'm wrong or not, but wasn't Vergil Ortiz quoted of saying that he's going to knock out Jaron Boots Ennis? Didn't he say that? Okay, so if you feel that way, and if Oscar feels like he can put him in there with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport and Terence Bud Crawford, then why not see Boots versus Ortiz? And then the winner of that possibly can make a fight with Spence or with Terence Bud Crawford if they ever decide to fight. I mean, goddamn. Goddamn. Flame on 24 said, I feel you on that, but that's how boxing is now and it's watered down. Yeah, man, and I'm just trying to get away from that, bro. I'm just so sick and tired of the politics in the sport of boxing, whether that's coming from the fans, the promoters, or hell, dare I even say the fighters, because the fighters are starting to use those same excuses that these YouTubers and that fight fans tend to paint these weak-ass narratives. And I'm just not with that, bro. I'm just not with it, because at the end of the day, we are the paying consumer, and we should demand to see the fights that we want to see. You understand what I'm saying? And if we don't get the fights we want to see, then don't buy the pay-per-view. Stream it. Fire stick that shit. That's what I would do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do until I get the fights I want to see. You understand me? But yeah, man. Flame on 24 said, unless it's UK fighters, kind of how the bars yours. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Well, on the other hand, shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury came out the other day, and I think he did an interview. I would play it, but I'm not trying to get flagged, man, because YouTube been hating on my channel, y'all, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, Tyson Fury basically came out the other day and said that he thinks 1,000% that this fight with Anthony Joshua is going to happen. And that's great news, even though I would love to see a Deontay Wilder versus a Tyson Fury trilogy, just because I feel like Deontay Wilder deserves to get his lick back, because he had it in writing that he was supposed to get a trilogy match, but we all know what happened. I'm not going to get into the minutia of that, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to frown upon a fucking undisputed fight in the heavyweight division, right? But one thing I want to point out, because I was doing my research, and let me pull this shit up, y'all, because I find this interesting. I found this very interesting, right? Let me see. Let me add this. Where is it? Okay. So I was on ESPN just reading up on the fight, right? And this is about the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury split. So as it reads, it says, as ESPN previously reported, the contract calls for a 50-50 split in the first fight and 60-40 in the rematch, with the winner taking the higher share. The plan is for both fights to take place in 2021, the first in June or July, and the rematch ideally in November or December. Now, that was a mouthful to me, y'all, because we all know Anthony Joshua is the bigger draw. Anthony Joshua sells more pay-per-views. Anthony Joshua has 3 belts. Tyson Fury only has 1, right? And if that man is willing to give a 50-50 split to make an undisputed fight in the heavyweight division, then why in the fuck can Errol Spence do that with Terence Bud Crawford? I'll wait. I will fucking wait. Oh, y'all didn't hear me? I said if Anthony Joshua, who has 3 belts in the heavyweight division, who is clearly the bigger pay-per-view draw over Tyson Fury, if he is able and willing to give 50-50 and a 60-40 split to the winner in a rematch to a Tyson Fury, then why can't Errol Spence do the same for Terence Bud Crawford? I wait. I will fucking wait. Can somebody, anybody, please drop a comment below and let me know if I'm tripping? Make that make sense. How does that make sense? You know, because it's not like Errol Spence is doing bigger numbers than Anthony Joshua. It's not like he's selling more pay-per-views than Anthony Joshua. And it's not like he has more belts than Anthony Joshua. Okay? So again, even with 3 belts, he's willing to make the fight happen, with Tyson Fury by giving him 50-50 and 60-40 to the winner. To the winner. So that just tells me right there that Anthony Joshua really wants this fight. You understand what I'm saying? That just tells me that he ain't scared to get in there and mix it up with Tyson Fury. But on the flip side with Errol Spence, oh my God, this just speaks volumes to the shit that I've been saying. I mean, how many videos I got on this topic about him ducking Terence Bud Crawford? Parts 1 through 8. I could make 9 to 10, but honestly, I'm just tired of talking about the shit. But I just thought about it when I was doing my research on this fight last night. Ain't that something, y'all? Now, if y'all don't start holding this man's feet to the fire, and please, maybe we should try to do this as the YouTube boxing community, right? Instead of pushing for this 60-40 split and trying to tell Terence Bud Crawford to accept less, even though he's done way more in the sport of boxing at 135, 140, and 147, right? All combined, not just 147, right? Instead of pushing that dumbass narrative of telling this man to take less, why don't we create a new narrative and say, Errol Spence, give this man 50-50 and do 60-40 to the winner in the rematch, just like AJ did with Tyson Fury? Why can't we do that, y'all? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. Hands of Stone said Tony was 26, Jones Jr. was 25. Come on, man. This era trying to milk these careers. Absolutely, man. They on this old Floyd Mayweather shit, and I get it, but Floyd Mayweather put in the work, bro. I mean, everybody wants to be money made, but don't nobody want to do what Pretty Boy did. Pretty Boy had to earn the right to call the shots as money made. He had to earn the right. You know, and he was talented enough to only fight once or twice a year. These dudes ain't that talented to be doing what TBE did. Fuck out of here. Flame on 24 said, Tyson Fury did Wilder dirty. AJ better not hope for that 50-50 BS. Hey, man, it's already in writing. They already signed, sealed, and delivered it. It's 50-50 in the first fight. It's 60-40 to the winner. And I think it's cool because we getting the fight that we want to see. You understand what I'm saying? It's an undisputed match. I'm not going to frown upon it. Even though I feel like Deontay Wilder deserves to be fighting Tyson Fury right now, you know, but hey, at the end of the day, I'm not sure what's going on in that arbitration. Flame on 24, but it looks like he didn't either accept his step aside money or he really don't want the fight. I don't know, bro. I don't know. He said Spence want compensation for this L and the million he shook on. Yeah, man. Errol Spence, man. What can I say about that guy? I mean, he's a walking contradiction. He's a walking contradiction. And I think it's already been reported that he responded to Jaron Boots Ennis. I don't have the clip or the image of it, but I believe he said that Jaron Ennis is easy work. But okay, we're going to hold him to that. We're going to hold you to that. Because if he easy work, then once he becomes number 3 in the IBF, you should be able to choose him just like you chose Ocampo, who was number 3, right? But we have to just wait and see, bro. Hands of Stone said because Earl is a diva. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's a troll, man. I just think he's trolling everybody. I don't think he really wants to fight. I know he's been quoted of saying that he wants to clean up his side of the street, but goddamn, how long is the shit gonna take, bro? I mean, you only been at 147 for how many fucking years now? You still ain't cleaning up your side of the street, which leads me to believe that that whole narrative of, oh, well, if Terence Bud Crawford was with Al Heyman and PBC, then the fight would get made a lot easier. Bullshit. Because look at Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. You don't understand what I'm saying? That fight ain't being made. Look at David Benavidez and Jamel Charlo. Those fights ain't getting made. They all with the same banner. They all with the same promoter. You understand what I'm saying? So enough with the bullshit, because at the end of the day, it's up to the two fighters on whether or not they want to get in the ring and duke it out. It's that simple to me. This shit ain't rocket science. This ain't algebra, you know. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, it's just crazy. But I am looking forward to this Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight. Of course, I'm picking Tyson Fury, but I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Joshua were to win, because one thing about Tyson Fury, man, I don't know if he's motivated, you know, because he was a little bit motivated to go up against Deontay Wilder, right? But what is Tyson Fury's motivation going up against Anthony Joshua? Now, the obvious answer would be becoming undisputed, but I don't know if Tyson Fury is just really hell-bent on winning belts like that, to be honest. I don't know what Tyson Fury is in the sport of boxing for, because he just seems like a kind of wonky guy, kind of weird, happy-go-lucky dude. You know, he don't really take shit too seriously. You understand what I'm saying? But he did seem to real, like a little pissed off about the whole Deontay Wilder accusations of him cheating and shit like that. But what is going to be his motivation against Anthony Joshua? I mean, can somebody drop a comment below? Because I don't know. Is the man in shape? Is he going to use that same energy and built up animosity he had towards the Deontay Wilder to go up against Anthony Joshua? I don't know. But again, I mean, the more and more I think about it, y'all, I'm starting to lean towards AJ. I really am. And I'm not the biggest AJ fan at all. I think he's a good boxer. You know, he does everything pretty damn good. He has good power, but he's a little chinny. You understand what I'm saying? But he can box. I'm just not a fan of him. I guess I can put it to y'all that way. Just not a fan of him. Flame on 24 said, I got AJ by KO. Ooh, so you think he gonna knock Fury out? Wow. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, bro. I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna give you your full credit if that were to happen. Fury knew Wilder was easy work, and Fury in it for the money. Yeah, I'm starting to think Fury is definitely in the sport of boxing for the money, man. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all today, man. I can drop a link in the chat if somebody want to come on and speak their piece. But if not, then I'm gonna get on out of here. Let me see. Let me stop this real quick. Let me copy this right here. Drop this in the chat. So if y'all want to come on and say what y'all got to say about this fight or about this topic that I was talking about, feel free. Be my guest. I just put it in the chat. Because if ain't nobody else going to come on and say what they got to say, I'm about to hurry up and give me a workout in, y'all. I just had to come online and address that old narrative of these young fighters not being ready. So it is what it is. I said what I got to say. Frenchie Capone 313. Great show today. Appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. Yeah, I had to come online early today before my workout, man, because I had to get this shit off my chest. I'm getting tired of hearing about the bullshit and, you know, the people trying to protect these fighters' oaths and shit like that, man. But yeah, so if ain't nobody gonna click on that link and hop on with your boy E Thriller, man, I'm about to hop off. That's what I'm trying to do. Work out. I already flame on 24. Get it in, bro. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to hurry up on and mosey up on out of here. But if some news break in the sport of boxing, man, I'll hop on later on tonight with y'all. But once again, I want to thank everybody for rocking with this morning. If you haven't done so already, hit that like or dislike button. And subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and click on all so you can be notified each and every time I upload a video or go live. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Be blessed.